So I think we can all tell that something's changing about reality. It's like there's this holographic net system overlaid and over top of our own individual realities, sliding in lessons and journeys and visions and things for us to opt into to learn to upgrade our experience and grow and all these things. It's like there's this element to reality itself which wants us to grow in a certain direction. And I've been noticing this change for quite a while, really. But most recently, I've been recognizing that there's a lot of components to this self awakening journey that can be better visualized, better understood, and can be actually turned into a type of lesson, academic, step by step system to accomplish certain states of consciousness. Now, it's a challenge to kind of put these things together because what happens when you learn one lesson is you'll naturally be focused on the next lesson that you have to learn. So it's almost like you kind of can forget what you learned previously because now you're so focused on the next thing. Now, what I've been doing with this project, Reality Designers, is basically engaging in my own self discovery and componentizing my journey of self awakening. And I've already gone pretty far into the system, but I've kind of forgot what exactly I did to start out. And so I want to start to actually make a lot of what I'm doing here public because I think that it will be useful to people just starting out. Because when I think about reality designers and the actual purpose of the brand and the community is to essentially create something that others can utilize to improve their own journey, to go down their own path. And if they have something useful to offer us as a whole, that can be added into the collective as a mechanism to help other people grow as well. So ultimately, we're about creating tools, consciousness tools, community collaboration to form useful connections for others to utilize, to grow and learn from. And so my journey, it really does begin when I was super young, because when I was young, I always knew that I was going to be doing something like this. Back when I was like 12, 13 years old, we had one of those flip phones, the Crazer phones, not the Razor, it was the Crazer phone I remember. And I'd always hit the voice record on that and just kind of speak into the phone every now and then when I heard like a lecture in my head talking to me about something or that voice always telling me something new that I need to learn for my life or whatever. And most of my life, I've been interacting with that voice. And there's a visionary scape to it, there's other things to it as well. But primarily, it's a voice and a vision. And I've been following that voice and vision for the longest time. And I think it's why I've bypassed a lot of the problems that I think a lot of people in the spiritual community tend to go through, is because there isn't really much of a sense of cultivation of that voice. Because for whatever reason, the spirituality community has turned into something where you kind of just need to let go of everything, let go of your mind, let go of attachments, let go of this, let go of that. And there is aspects to your own reality creation where you need to do that. But there's a lot of aspects to reality where you still have to hold together what you do value, what you do want, and place it into your life consciously. And so when I look at these different bridges of, I guess, fractions of the same idea that range from like super new age spirituality to like super science bro type of personal development, I see that there is room to create something kind of in between, something that resembles the qualities and embraces the metaphysical journey of the mystery and the strange reality. But then there's also this aspect where we can blend tools and tactics and build things that are actually tangible and useful that give results and can be marked by data and so on and so forth. So I think that what we drastically need right now not only in the spiritual community, but like just in the world in general, is we need a source of information that's coming from just the purest place where we seek to understand exactly what things are so we can put each thing in a position in relation to other ideas, other things that we've discovered, and just keep on growing this repository of information. That's what I basically am trying to do. And the vision I had for this project is essentially something where we build out several little worlds. We build out little worlds of information and we display them in a 3D browser explorable experience. And the worlds self populate and self generate with more self similar ideas that branch off and build the worlds themselves. So the first world I'm building here is called Internal World. And Internal World is essentially a meditative tool. It's a 3D experience where you're meditating alongside an avatar. And this avatar is going through these point activations where you're activating different points and grids within your experience. And you're translating that information and bringing it into your own field. And then from there, you can apply patterns, you can use different tools, you can build utilities, and you can basically build out your own internal system for your navigation. And so that's something I've been building for quite a while now, probably at least 2 years in terms of when I first start to visualize that tool and what it could be. But more tangibly, probably within the last 3 months, I've been building it as a 3D product. And that's really what I think that this brand, it needs to become. It needs to become an ecosystem of a bunch of digital products. Some will be free, some will be very inexpensive, but mainly an ecosystem, a marketplace where we all build little plugins and tools together that each serve some function to help each other grow. That's essentially what I see for the future of this project, and I think that the future of what other projects might turn into later on in the future as well. Because there is this mass disacknowledgement of looking at the benefits of technology in the spiritual communities for some reason. Because, technology is bad, it TikTok culture, everything all, it's almost like we look at technology as if like technology itself is what's bad. And, you could say the same thing for like, firearms as well. It's like, it's the thing that's bad, but not actually how you use it, sort of a thing, right? And so I think that we can just start to look at almost every aspect of our lives and all the tools that we have accessible to us as things that we can utilize for the benefit. And we can just build better systems on top of it and use it more consciously. So these are the things that I'm trying to build. These are the things that I stand for. I think it's pretty cool. I'm going to build it regardless of whoever wants to show up and help. But I think that that's also something that people need. People need something that they can really feel plugged into. They need something that they can feel like they're building something that's being validated and people enjoy it. Other people see what they're building. I think that a lot of the problems that people experience on a spiritual level are just things that could easily be avoided if the person was just actually doing things that they wanted to do or were meant to do. Because we all feel intrinsically there's some aspect to ourself that we need to do something here on the planet and we want the world to recognize us for it, and we want to, gain financial prosperity in relation to doing that thing. And in general, we just want to do more of what makes us happy and thrive and so on. And I think that that future, we're now getting closer and closer to that collective vision more than ever. But we're also getting closer and closer to the collective vision of destruction, dystopian future, all this cybersecurity, cyber invasion, cyber whatever. I mean, there's so much confusion right now amidst the planet of the timelines and where they may actually shift and transform into. There's so many unknowns. I mean, every week there's like a decade that passes by in the world of AI. And so we truly don't know what even 2024 will hold and everything that's going to happen there and so on and so forth. So right now, it's more important than ever to build the timeline consciously to whatever degree that you can for yourself. And there's really no controlling the world. There's no controlling what the world itself will do, what reality itself will do. There's only controlling your world. And that's always been something that I've been kind of plugged into because I think that early on, that's what I recognized about this place is that the world itself is really like your world. Yes, we all have our local individual container. We all have our experience of reality, of how we're experiencing it. But for the most part, your world is just your own sphere, your own localization of what's around you and what you can sense and perceive. And a lot of what is like sold to you on the phone and marketed to you on social media and so on, it's just images that are floating there, ready for you to swipe into your mind so you create more of what you're seeing essentially. But it doesn't necessarily mean that those things are actually real or will happen to you in your life. Most of you watching, if you just go outside and just look around, you'll probably recognize that your life is fine, your friends and family's lives are fine. Everything is like pretty normal and okay, almost anywhere you go. But when you log onto social media, it's just a continuous, I mean, I don't even know what it is. It's just like you're always sold continuously that something bad is going on. But then you look out your window and everything appears to be fine. And so there's this aspect to the nature of our world right now where there's this incentive to kind of pry on fear, pry on confusion, pry on how things could go wrong or they're about to go wrong. The world's about to be destroyed. All the banks are collapsing. So next week there's going to be this thing. But you look around and everything appears to be fine. And it almost appears like it's going to continue to be fine. So as long as you believe that. And so it's almost as if the more people that believe a certain thing, that actually holds up the grid for what actually will occur. And these are the foundational concepts of reality designers, actually. It's how we design reality, by understanding firsthand and foremost what are actually all the components required to generate reality and how does this place work? How can we optimize it? How can we optimize ourselves? And so on. I mean, there's so many of these mechanics that we can learn to develop and at least or will benefit from if we can better understand what they are and the relationship to other things. So I think we're moving into a new realm of reality here where we're almost hyper aware of all the perceptions that we can activate into, and we just maintain these states of awareness. And the more people that can do this, the better reality will be. And so that's what I think the future of lifestyle design, programming, coding, spirituality, all of it, it's all going to transform into one singular thing.